All right, my name is Jeremie Ramey. I'm originally from Cobb County, but I recently moved to Tallapoosa. Life for me coming up was kind of lived through a moment of, like where I didn't have my family there. Like my mom, when I was born, she didn't have the funds to take care of me, so I had to live with my grandparents. And I moved from place to place up till I was, probably 12 or 13. I lived with my grandparents for a while up there in Dawsonville, and my grandfather, he was a sick man. It wasn't physical molestation, but it was mental. He taking pictures of me in the tub and stuff. When I was a kid, I didn't know what that was. You know what I mean? So I finally told somebody, and I told one of my aunts, and they were like, "Look, you got to get you out of here." So my mom come and got me, and then I moved in with my other grandma. After a short period of time of staying with my mom. So I think that kind of spiraled into what started my addiction, honestly, because there for a long time I was trying to fit in any kind of way because I had that void, you know what I mean? I didn't have that connection with anybody, it felt like. So at that point I'm probably 12, 13, something like that. So, I grew up in the house. I seen I don't want to really snatch off of Jelly Roll, but I seen one of his interviews recently, and he was like, "Look, man, I grew up in a house where my cousins were using, they were all smoking and drinking and doing their thing, and music had a big influence on everything. My sisters, they're listening to Nirvana or whatever kind of different Metallica and stuff. My cousins, they're listening to Tupac, Biggie." And all these other, rappers. And then my grandparents, they're listening to Saturday Night Gold, country music. But everything's got a thing where they're either drinking or doing something. School for me, once I moved from my grandparents' house, moving back down from country down to the city life, the kids thought that I was different because I had a different accent. You know what I mean? Like my brother, he used to pick on me because I'd say I'd go to get my hair cut. Instead of hair, I'd say her. So it took a little bit of, getting into the culture, and it was hard. And I was a fat, chubby kid with red hair, you know what I mean? And just, it was hard trying to fit in, trying to weave my way back into, starting over, basically. Well, I guess the phases that started me using, I hate to throw my sister out there, but I was 14 to 13, 14, something like that. And my sister was sitting on the front porch and they're smoking weed. And I was like, I want to try that. And my sister blew me on my first shotgun. I don't know if, but you can lace up your hands a certain way and blow through it. And I didn't have to actually hit it, but I was hooked right off that first rip. And then also, I guess, seeing her hanging out with all her friends, trying to be that cool kid, this was, all right, I can be this cool kid getting high. And it started out as just fun, smoking every once in a while, just get a little stoned. I didn't have to worry about all the stuff that I had going on in my head, because I was always thinking back to, my grandparents and what happened. Always trying to, like I said, trying to fit in, and it was pressure, man. What happened with my grandparents, when I say back then, is, the whole thing with my grandpa doing what he did. And my mom, she remembers it better than I do. I guess because I've suppressed it so much. My mom says that I was in the bed while they were doing their thing. They're having sex or whatever, and I'm in the bed with them. As far as I know, nothing happened to me. But that still, it daunted me because I was like, how do I not remember this? But I actually had to go to therapy. My mom had to pay for therapy sessions. Go in there and sit down and talk to this lady that don't even know me. I had to open up to her, which I never really did, I believe. I remember beating on a little balloon thing that bounced back and forth. I actually busted it. The way to be introduced into things stronger was trying to fit in. That was my biggest thing. I was always trying to get somebody's attention because I was attention starved as a kid. I'm trying to get something from them. So, I'm smoking weed, I'm doing my thing, hanging out with all these friends. But then they're like, okay, we're doing cocaine now. This is their new thing, they're trying. I'm like, well, sure, I'll do a bump with you. and started doing a little coke here and there. And then coke turns into something harder, crack cocaine. We called it primo. Put a little crack in a blunt, roll it up. It's just one step after another, just trying to fit in with this next clique. That's when I found crystal meth. And that's when my life changed completely. And it was slow, very slow. Because at this point in my life, I'm probably, 17, 18. I'm starting to work, you know what I mean? I've already dropped out of school at this point. I quit school at 17. I actually got caught drinking at school. And I had a teacher walk up to me. I don't know if you remember them racetrack cups, the big 64-ounce huge ones. I had half orange juice and a whole bottle of vodka in it. And I'm walking down the halls drinking out of it. And I'm passing it to my buddies because I'm that guy now. I done hit this point where I'm the cool kid doing all this dumb shit. So I'm passing out the little bottle around, the big cup. And there's a teacher he's about our height and about our build. So he kind of snuck in with the crowd, right? He reaches up and grabs it, takes a sip, and it says, "Come with me, Mr. Ramey. We're going to the principal's office." So we go to the principal's office, and they're like, "We're going to expel you for 10 days. And I said, "I'll do you one better. I'll quit." I was 16, 17. I could sign my own paperwork. So signed out and I quit. So in doing all that, now my dad's like, "Okay, go on, you're taking your ass to work." So it started out, like I said, with methamphetamines is just a way to get more hours, get more work in. And it slowly took everything from me. It wasn't right away, you know what I mean? But it's just a slow, it's like cancer, man. Just come in and took everything. So eventually, after, like I said, the kids were born and I lost everything, I just took off, just left the family and everything behind. And now I'm into the criminal life. I'm trying to support this addiction that I have. And eventually I end up homeless. I have nothing. I'm sleeping in a tent behind Walmart in Gwinnett. And this is I don't know if anybody's ever been homeless and they have a compound, right? We call it a compound. My little tent, and then actually I didn't sleep with, God, put that in there. On a compound, and I actually had one tent of my own, and then the dope man had his tent, and then my other buddy had his tent adjacent to me. And we're all hanging out with my buddy that stayed to the left of me. And we've been up for a couple days partying and stuff. And he's like, "Look, man, I got to get me something. So I got to get some rest." And he was like, "Do you want to go with me?" I said, "No, I don't really mess with the heroin like that. That's not my thing." You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just going to go back to my tent. It took me and my old lady, and it took a minute. It wasn't right away. It wasn't rude like. We just went back to our tent. And then he was like, "All right, I'm going to go get my stuff." So he left. $10 was all the man had to spend. He went and got his bag, come back. We didn't see him for 2, maybe 3 days. Didn't see him. So they're like, "Somebody's got to go over and check on him." Go over and open up his tent, and the man is dead. Fentanyl overdose. Didn't realize that the bag he got, the lady that sold it to him, she was told it was heroin, but it was laced with fentanyl, which is, if anybody knows, 10 times stronger, probably 100 times stronger than heroin. So the one thing he was trying to do was just go to sleep, took his life. Well, seeing a man that's my skin complexion, laid over in a chair, just frozen in time, and gray to skin tone, it was rough, man. It's hard to even describe how you see a man laying there lifeless